In today's episode of Mind Mirror, we will talk about exploring the addictive behavior of phone checking, the dopamine feedback loop, and its impact on focus, anxiety, and self-worth. Have you ever found yourself mindlessly scrolling through your social media feeds, feeling an overwhelming urge to check your notifications every few minutes? You're not alone. In fact, according to a recent study, over 70% of adults admit to checking their phones compulsively throughout the day. But what's behind this addictive behavior? And how is it affecting our lives in ways we may never have considered? It all starts with dopamine. This neurotransmitter, often referred to as the pleasure molecule, plays a crucial role in our brain's reward system. When we receive a like or comment on one of our posts, or when we see a notification pop up, it triggers a release of dopamine in our brain. And let me tell you, that feeling is hard to resist. It's like hitting the jackpot every time. But here's the thing, this feedback loop can quickly become out of control. When we're constantly bombarded with notifications and updates, our brains start to associate these stimuli with a sense of pleasure or reward. So even when there's no actual reason to check our phones, our brains will often find ways to manufacture one anyway. It's like a vicious cycle. We can't stop checking because it feels good, but the moment we do stop, the urge becomes even stronger. Now you may be thinking, but wait, isn't this just about personal responsibility? Don't I have the power to stop checking my phone whenever I want? And yes, that's true. But here's the thing, our brains are wired to respond to triggers in a very specific way. When we're presented with something that activates our reward system, like a notification on our phone, it can be incredibly difficult to resist the urge to act on it. And that's where things get really interesting, because when we constantly check our phones, we're not just getting notifications, we're also being fed a constant stream of curated information about other people's lives. And let me tell you, this can have some pretty profound effects on our mental state. When we see someone else's perfect vacation photos or their seemingly effortless accomplishments, it can make us feel like we're missing out or like we just aren't measuring up. This is where the concept of social comparison comes in. You know, that tendency to compare ourselves to others and feel inadequate as a result. It's a major driver of anxiety and self-doubt, and our phone habits can be a huge contributor to this phenomenon. When we're constantly exposed to other people's highlights reels on social media, it's hard not to get caught up in feelings of FOMO, fear of missing out, or inadequacy. And yet, despite all these warning signs, many of us continue to check our phones compulsively. We tell ourselves that just one more notification won't hurt, or that we need to stay connected with friends and family. But the truth is, our brains are designed to respond to triggers in a way that's almost impossible to resist. So what can we do about it? Well, for starters, let's take a closer look at our phone habits. Are there certain times of the day or situations where we tend to check our phones more frequently? Once we identify these patterns, we can start to develop strategies to break free from them. Maybe that means setting specific times to check notifications each day or avoiding social media altogether during certain hours. It's also worth noting that there are some pretty fascinating psychological phenomena at play here. For example, did you know that our brains have a concept of negativity bias? That is, we tend to give more weight to negative experiences and emotions than positive ones. This can make it especially challenging to resist the urge to check our phones when we're feeling anxious or stressed. But despite all these complexities, there's still hope. By understanding the psychology behind our phone habits and developing strategies to break free from them, we can start to reclaim control over our lives. We can learn to use our phones in a way that serves us, rather than controls us. So I want to leave you with a question today. What would your life be like if you spent just 1 hour less per day checking your phone? Would you have more time for exercise or hobbies, more opportunities to connect with friends and family, or perhaps simply more time to focus on the things that truly matter? The possibilities are endless, but it's up to us to take control of our own habits. So let's make a commitment to ourselves today. We're going to start taking back our lives from the grip of our phones. We're going to learn to use technology in a way that serves us, rather than controls us. It won't be easy. There will be moments when you feel like giving up or when the urge to check your phone becomes almost overwhelming. But remember, you have the power to resist those triggers. You have the power to take back control of your life. So go ahead, set that notification bell off and start exploring a new way of living, one where your phone is simply an extension of yourself, rather than the other way around. Stay tuned for the next episode of Mind Mirror, a reflection of thoughts you never say out loud.